What's up, guys? Justin Cappon Pro here, your startup business mentor and branding strategist. Today we're going to talk about how to get started creating online courses. Let's talk passive income streams, shall we? Online learning was already a booming industry coming into this year, but with the closure of schools and universities and non-essential business and all the things, the online learning industry is absolutely blowing up right now, okay? So if you are someone who is already teaching in some capacity, you've probably already been considering creating some sort of online course or e-learning platform to support what you are already doing. But now, maybe that idea has gone from a, that'd be nice, to now a, gotta have it. Especially if teaching is your primary, God forbid, only source of income. You might be out of work right now. But what if this season is exactly what was necessary for you to think outside the box and start building your own brand, your own content library, and your own source of revenue that is within your control and scalable? Now that's one angle, but then what about those of y'all that have never taught anything before? Is an online course creation still a good idea for you and still a good income stream to pursue? Absolutely. All right, giving yourself options for additional sources of revenue is always a good idea, but especially now with the boom in the online course industry. All right, so what better time than now to tackle this subject, and what better time for you to really begin thinking, planning, and possibly creating your own online course? All right, that's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to give you all the details to get you started thinking about, could you create your own course? If you're excited about this content today, guys, please smash that like button. Certainly subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Then I would love for you to drop some comments down below along the way. I love your thoughts, I love your feedback, and certainly I love your questions. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask those, and I'll be happy to answer those for you as we go along. All right, let's dive right into this, shall we? So the first thing I want to cover real quick is I just want to talk about the reason why most people don't get started. All right, the reason why many of you may not have gotten started creating your own online course when you actually have the desire to do so is because I think a lot of people feel like they need to teach everything that they know. And as you can imagine, that can become overwhelming. I think a lot of people think that it would take 9 months or even a year to create an online course, and that seems so daunting and so overwhelming that they just never start. But what about starting with a mini course? Can you boil your secret sauce or your full level of expertise down to a signature lesson that could and probably would make a powerful impact in someone's life? Maybe you're a homeschool mom and you've been homeschooling your children for years. Can somebody say goldmine? The number of parents that are waiting in limbo right now trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do with their kids this fall is absolutely staggering. You could create a series of mini courses helping to educate parents with everything that they need to know if they decided they wanted to start homeschooling. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to create your own full homeschool curriculum. That would obviously be extensive. You just break it down. So for example, mini course number 1 could be your homeschool journey, phase 1, process and preparation. And you teach all the specific things that a homeschool parent needs to know to set up their process and prepare for an upcoming homeschool season. And then main course number 2 could be homeschool journey phase 2, success method and routine. Maybe you teach them how to set up a great routine with their kids to succeed and help everybody in their learning environment. And then mini course number 3 could be your homeschool journey phase 3, succeeding at all ages and stages, how to help the younger ones, the mid stage, and the older ones, and how do you teach if you have different age groups? If that's stuff that you know, that's stuff that you could teach. Those are just a few examples, but do you see what I did? Like, I'm not giving you a full homeschool curriculum. I'm teaching you everything that you need to know to be successful as a homeschooler. Everything that I've learned to be successful in doing it myself. Now, I don't even homeschool my kids. So those are just ideas just coming out of my mind, just talking to you on the fly. But think about for yourself, you probably know as a homeschool parent what it's really going to take for a parent to be successful homeschooling if they've never done it before. What do they need to know? How do they get started? What questions do they need to ask? What do they need to be prepared for? How do they get a curriculum? If you have answers to those questions, you can sell the answers to those questions. Creating online courses is as simple as leveraging your own unique knowledge and expertise and simply sharing what you know. And guess what? People will pay for it, all right? The other common barriers that I see a lot of people struggle with when they're thinking about starting up, creating a course, is fear of technology, confusion about what platforms to be on, And then how do I collect money? Those tend to be some challenging questions. But really, there's only 5 big questions that you really need to ask yourself if you're thinking about creating your first course. And once you land on a solution to each of these 5 questions, you have a clear path to getting your mini course out of your head and into the marketplace and selling, all right? So I'm gonna take you through these 5 questions, and I'm gonna challenge you to give this video your undivided attention and really think about what answers you can put down to these questions, because I wanna see if I can get you moving and making some money, all right? The first question I wanna ask you is just simply, what will you teach? If you're having trouble deciding what to teach, I want you to consider a few things, right? The first question is, what are the questions that you answer over and over and over to your friends or your family or your colleagues or your students? Is there anything that people are constantly coming to you for that you're like, man, if I could just put that answer in a recorded replay, it would save me so much time and energy? That particular question is exactly how I created my first mini course, and I didn't even really know what I was doing at the time. Early on in my business, when I was attracting a lot of clients and I was really starting to build up a good base of clientele, I had a lot of people that were coming to me for branding. So what was happening is these were all one-on-one clients, and every single client that I had, I was answering the same questions over and over and over. Justin, how do I pick my business name? How do I purchase my domain name? How do I get started in the process of building a business? How do I write a business plan? If people ask me, what do you do? How do I answer that question? How do I differentiate myself from everybody else that's doing these things in the market? All these questions that I was getting all the time, every single one-on-one call that I was getting on, I was spending 30 to 40 to 50 to sometimes 60 minutes answering all those questions. Then I get another call, answer those same questions. Then on another call and answer those same questions. And I remember I started getting really, really busy, and I was stuck in a trap where I needed more money, but I didn't have more time. My income was limited by the number of hours that I had in my day, and I kept telling myself and telling my wife, I've got to find a way to duplicate me. So I realized there were some core fundamental questions that had to be answered at the beginning stage of every single client that I worked with. So I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a brief tutorial for my clients, so when anybody purchases a branding package from me, I'm going to start them out with that tutorial and automate that startup process. So what I did was I made a list of the key questions that I needed to answer right off the bat, with the specific instruction that I needed to give to each of my clients with those. So I answered those top 10 questions. How do I decide on a great business name? How do I do my research? Where do I buy a domain name? How do I write a business plan? How do I come up with a great value statement? So I made a list of all those fundamental questions, and then I sat down and I recorded a video answering all of those questions and gave specific instruction for how you needed to handle every step of that startup journey. Then I wrote a mini little PDF document that supported the video. That video ended up being just under 60 minutes. It was 1 hour long, captured all of those key questions with a PDF to go along with it. And I'm like, there, I've got a video training, and then I've got a PDF that supports it. So then when someone would invest in my branding package, I would send them an email. Thank you so much for your investment. This is where you're going to get started. I want you to watch this video and take this PDF with it and work through these steps. Once you get these all done, send me back your responses and I'll take you to the next stage. And it was saving me a ton of time. Now, in my mind, that was not a mini course. That was a resource just to help me be more efficient. But then what happened was I was doing a live training, and I was talking about some of these key steps in a live training that I was doing, and the idea struck me. And while I was live, I'm like, you know, guys, I've created a resource. It's a video training that walks you through the core fundamentals of starting up a brand new business, and I have a PDF that goes along with it. Would anybody be interested in getting a hold of that course? And I actually said the word course, and I didn't even realize what that meant at the time. And I had a large portion of my audience was like, absolutely, I would love to get my hands on it. And I didn't have a price or anything for it at the time. I'm like, all right, guys, well, I can't give that to you for free. How about 50 bucks? How many of y'all would pay 50 bucks to get a hold of that training? It's going to be so helpful. I promise you, it's going to walk you through some of the major questions that people have. And I had a ton of people like, yeah, absolutely, I'd pay 50 bucks. I'm like, all right, cool. Pay me 50 bucks and I'll email it to you. So all I had at the time was a PayPal account. I set up a PayPal link, and I said, if you're interested in getting hold of that training, please shoot me an email. I gave them my email address. I don't remember the number of people that emailed me that day, but I had people email me, Justin, I want to get that course. I sent them a PayPal link. They paid for it, and then I just emailed them the video and the PDF, and that was it. And that was my first mini course, and it just opened up my eyes to realize I just automated my knowledge. I just created a way where people can purchase my expertise without me having to speak it to them live. And it completely changed my world. And from then, I went all in on course creation and creating mini courses and digital academies because it's such a tremendous opportunity to make money. So back to that question, what are the questions you answer over and over and over to your friends, family, and colleagues that you could put some structure to and some format to and provide a systematic answer to a common question that people are facing, all right? The other question you could ask yourself is, what do people say you're especially good at doing, explaining, or demonstrating? What are you good at? Like, is there something specifically that you know really, really well and other people are trying to figure out? If you have a very specific type of expertise or something that you can demonstrate or explain or do, and you can show that in a form where they can watch your video and they can learn how to do something that you know how to do, you can sell that. And we're still on point number one, is what will you teach? Third question is, what subject are you passionate about that you could talk about it all day long? Is there something that you are very knowledgeable about or very passionate about that you know you could provide information on that subject? Once you get some ideas about what your mini course could be about, that's where you want to take that idea and come up with an outline. So imagine a book, all right? If you open up a book, you start out with a table of contents. Once you get a general idea of what you want to teach, the first step I want to give you is that you want to create an outline. You want to write an outline just like a table of contents. So if I want to teach a course on how to start up a brand new business, the first thing that I want to do is create an outline of the specific steps that I want to take you through to start up a new online business. And then with each of those core steps, I'll call those maybe chapters, or I might call them modules. So maybe module 1 is clarify your idea. What do I need to teach under clarify your idea? Research your business name and identify the saturation. How to purchase a domain name. How to secure your name on multiple social networks, right? So all those key things are going to be important. So once I create this outline, I'm going to create a roadmap for myself for what needs to go in to this course. I'm just giving myself a blueprint for what I need to create, all right? So having an outline of what you want to teach is vital. And basically you're walking through how you want to take them from point A to point B and get them to the finish line of whatever it is that they're paying you to help them with, okay? As you do this, keep in mind that it's just important to decide what you won't include in your course as well as what you will include, all right? I think naturally we tend to think that more is better, right? But people today are surrounded by such massive loads of information, right? Part of your secret sauce is that you can streamline the learning experience for them so that they only spend time on the essentials, on the key information. So if you think of it this way, if I only gave you 2 hours to teach your subject, what would be the crucial components to include? If you knew you had to get through it in 2 hours, what would you make sure was absolutely a part of that content? And then what could you trim away, right? Teach just that and resist the temptation to add more. Because if you include too much, it will water down the impact of the information and it'll make the project so overwhelming that you'll resist completing it, okay? The second question I want to ask you today is, how will they learn? Think about what formats would be the most effective for your potential students based on the subject matter that you're teaching. So for example, do you want them to learn by face to video? Like basically you teach like this and every single video they're gonna watch you teaching, maybe sitting at a desk and just teaching them whatever it is that you want to teach them. Or do you want to have slides? A lot of people will create a video academy where they're not on screen, but there's slides on screen. You could do that super easily, by the way. You can use a free resource like Google Slides. And you could create slides of your information with your key points and visuals and pictures if you want to have any supporting resources. Get all of that imagery created, and then you can do something like creating a free Zoom account, and then you can simply share your screen on Zoom to look at those slides and then record that Zoom call. And then you can record yourself talking over while you're showing those slides on screen. And then when you're done, stop recording and you have yourself a mini course. So slides with audio overlay is a very popular video training type of thing. And a lot of people create courses where they don't even see the human being on camera. That's an easy way to do it. Or maybe you want to do screencasting. So screencasting is when you actually show your screen and you record yourself doing something. So maybe if you're going to want to do something techie, or if you're going to want to show something, maybe artistic or visually or something, you can actually show your screen. And again, you could use Zoom, a free Zoom account, share your screen, press record, and you could record yourself demoing something on your screen. That could be a way that you do your academy. Maybe you want to do like on-site shots, or maybe you want to do something outdoors. You can do full body on location demo videos where you show yourself doing something. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe you want to create a yoga academy. You can do full body demos of you doing yoga poses on the beach, right? That could be done. Maybe you want to do audio only. So again, maybe you want to just do some audio files. Maybe you don't want to have video at all. You can sell an entire academy just off audio training if you wanted to. Then you could do PDF resources if you want to support, which I shared earlier. My first course was a walkthrough of the key things, plus I created a PDF to go along with it just to help support. You could have printable workbooks if you wanted to. You could do quizzes to test people's subject matter knowledge if you want to. So you're really only limited by your creativity. That's just a couple of different ideas, but based upon what you're teaching, you need to think about how do I want my students to learn and consume what I'm trying to teach them, okay? So that's question number 2. Question number 3 is, how will you create the content? If I'm being honest, this is where people really get stuck. People think that they need fancy equipment or a team of people to create a course. That's just not the case. In fact, when you actually release your first course, I recommend being a little bit scrappy, okay? Don't let perfectionism hold you back. You can always price your first course a little lower if you want. I sold my first course for $50, right? And then you can upgrade the quality as you get better. But at least you get your first course out there. Don't let technology stop you from getting that first thing out there, that first course out there. For example, if you don't have a webcam or fancy lighting, so what? Use your phone, get yourself in front of a well-lit window, and record your first academy. It does not have to be perfect. I learned a long time ago that done is better than perfect. So don't allow perfectionism to stop you. Same goes with like PDFs and stuff like that. If you don't know how to make a professional looking PDF, there are templates that you can use on Canva. You can easily hire someone on Fiverr, for example, to create PDFs for you. There's a variety of free ways. There's a variety of free Google tools like Google Slides, Google Docs that you can use things to create nice visuals, all right? So don't allow yourself to be inhibited by the fact that you think it has to be perfect or it has to be premium. Just start with what you have and do the best with what you got, okay? The next question, number 4, is how are you going to deliver your mini course? I've met a ton of content creators who have not started marketing their course simply because they couldn't decide on what platform to use, all right? While there are a lot of things to consider, listen, there's so many great options out there that it's really hard to go wrong. If you want to start very basic, you can just simply open up a Facebook group. You can upload video files, put them in units in a Facebook group, organize the material with your PDFs and such, and you've got a course. And then you can sell your course through PayPal. As soon as they pay you, put them in their secret group, and they can access the content and interact with you right there. And that's free. That's super, super easy. When I did my first course, I didn't even have that technology in play, right? I did a video, accidentally brought up the fact that I'd created a course. A whole bunch of people were like, I want that. And like, oh, really? You want to buy that? Okay, here. And so they paid me through PayPal, and I just sent them an email with a video attached and the PDF attached, and they digested it from there. So it doesn't have to be fancy. Now, of course, as I grew up in the video creation process, I leveled up my technology. Eventually, I invested in a program called Teachable, which I love. If you're looking for a great online course platform, Teachable is fantastic. It's not terribly expensive, but they have a ton of tremendous features that are really, really lend to a great high quality academy. I also use ClickFunnels for some academies. ClickFunnels is more advanced, more technology. You can build in some great sales pages and funnels with those, but those are all advanced technology. Don't feel like you have to start there to start your first course. Just focus on getting your first course created and really get that thing mapped out and done. Then once you get that, then you can decide what's going to be the best place to leverage that and get that out to your people, all right? But deciding on how you want to deliver your content and have people engage with it is going to be an important question that you're going to have to answer, okay? The 5th question I want to ask you today is, how are they going to pay you? Right now, again, there's so many easy ways to get paid online nowadays between Stripe and PayPal and Square. Most people nowadays have one or several of those different platforms, so collecting payment is easy, but you definitely want to establish how you want to collect that payment and make it consistent. Now, in case you don't know this as well, if you really, really want to get into the course creation platform, this is really going to become a great income driver for you and a real business for you. One great way to do that is to create a PayPal business account. You can set up a business account for free. You can take your personal account and upgrade it, or you can create a separate PayPal business account, and you can really run a PayPal business account much like a business bank account. You can actually get a PayPal business debit card. You can send invoices through PayPal. You can also create a PayPal link that's unique to you where you can send people there to pay you. A great way to do that is use PayPal Me. So if you have a PayPal account, you can go to paypal.me. It'll give you a custom link where people can click that custom link and send you whatever amount they owe you. So for example, if you wanted to send me a tip or send me some money, you could go to paypal.me/Justin Cappon Pro. So if you were saying, Justin, I want to buy your next course and my payment processor shut down or something, I could say, yeah, go to paypal.me/Justin Cappon Pro, and you can send me the fee, and I'll collect it from there. As soon as I receive your payment, I'll send you the course, or I'll get you plugged into the group or whatever. So that's a very easy process. But because there's so many different ways to collect money online nowadays, you just need to decide what you want your method to be and get that planned out so that you're not collecting money from all these different areas, or you don't have a real good process established, and so the money collection process is cumbersome. You want to make it as easy as possible. All right. So those are the 5 most important questions that you need to answer first before you start your own course. What will you teach? How will they learn? How will you create the content? How will you deliver the content? And how will they pay you? Once you get answers to those 5 questions, the only last question that you need to answer for yourself is, when are you going to get this started? I have met so many different people who get excited about the idea of creating their first course, and they dream of building up some passive income streams, but they never sit down and create a solid plan for how they're going to do it. And so their someday never comes. Not you. Now that you have those 5 questions that you know you need to put answers to, I'm going to challenge you to take some time. Try to do this in the next 48 hours, will you? In the next 48 hours, take some time. Give yourself 2 hours to put answers down to those 5 questions and commit to just mapping out the process. There's a great quote by Tony Robbins that says, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no new action, you haven't truly decided. I'm going to challenge you to decide today that you are going to do this. It's time for you to get that mini course out of your head, down on paper, and out into the world. All right, make a decision, commit some time to this over the next 48 hours, begin mapping that out, and I can't wait to see what you create with it. All right, that's what I got for you today, guys. If you enjoyed that, I'd love for you to smash that like button. Certainly subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Guys, drop me a comment down below. I love hearing your thoughts. I love it if you have questions, drop those to me. I'd love to answer those for you. Guys, have a beautiful day. I appreciate your time and attention, and I will see you guys all around the web. All right, take care and God bless. I'll see you later.